My name is Leonard Miller, and I've been a commercial farmer my life in northeast Nebraska. I had the privilege of visiting Lizzie and Jose's farm in Patagonia, southern Chile, in January with Trey Sheldon, who was a savory group, and they are a savory hub. I'm going to address three things that I think are a problem in the world today, that issues we're facing. One is climate change, two is food insecurity, and three is our dwindling resources with the population of the earth getting so big. And I'm going to try to show you how Lizzie and Jose are addressing all three of these issues on their eco farm in Chile. Number one, in climate change. The way they manage their grasslands, it's called impact grazing, regenerative grazing. It traps a lot of carbon in the soil and removes it from the air. The way that happens is they mimic what the buffalo did in the United States and the Great Plains and the herds do in Africa. So they move across these grasslands fast. They eat 60–70% of the grass and return the rest to the soil with their hooves, and their manure and their urine is mixed with this, and it improves the soil and traps a lot of carbon. So that's how they can affect climate change. Number two is food insecurity. Alan Savory says 70% of the world's arable land is brittle, which means it's dry part of the year and rains part of the year. And these are pretty brittle climates and are subject to erosion and non-improvement from grazing. So a lot of the environmentalists in the world are wanting to take cattle, sheep, and goats off of these kind of lands. And what happens when they're overgrazed, they do improve for 2 or 3 years, but then they start to deteriorate again because there's no way to put the biomass that grows back into the soil to improve it. So if these lands, if animals were returned to these lands and they were managed properly the way Lizzie and Jose manage their grasslands, it would also improve the land, and it would produce a tremendous amount of nutrient-dense food for the world off of these lands. The third thing is our dwindling resources, and we have an industrial agriculture model in the United States that uses a lot of resources to produce what we're producing. It works in the United States because we have so much wonderful black farmland. But for a lot of places in the world where they don't have that land, those lands cannot be farmed. So the only option for those lands is to put animals back on it, but they have to be managed properly. One of the things that we're fast running out of is commercial fertilizer, and that's what an intensive industrial agriculture model needs to be productive. Lizzie and Jose use no chemicals, no commercial fertilizer. They only use the animals to improve the grassland. So what they're doing is tremendous for feeding the people of the world and improving the land, and it's a regenerative system that can go on forever because it doesn't need a lot of high dollar inputs. So I hope that I was clear in what I think, but it's a win-win situation to support their farm. Thank you.